Welcome back. So now that we have a representation of the data down here inside our app that actually matches the stuff on Firestore, we're going to try and get the actual data in the next couple of lessons from Firestore and start using that data in our application. I'm going to put the actual folder service that I want to make in the next couple of lessons into the shared folder right here, but I'm kind of annoyed with the name of this folder right here called files, because I actually want it to be called storage instead, because right now the things in here is actually for the storage, and I just refactored this and renamed it into storage just to make it easier to kind of see that the service in here right now is actually a storage service. You could also rename the service if you want to. No, I'm not going to do that this lesson, but you can go and do that. Because now I kind of have the storage here and I know that's where my file service resides. That can go and get files, the actual files from the storage, right? Now I'm going to make a new folder in here, just call it DB or something, just to make it simple for me to see that this is for the database stuff, and in there I'm going to add this folder service. So let's just go and do that. ng generate, and that's going to be a service, and I'm going to put it under the shared folder. I'm going to put it under something called DB right now, and then I'm just going to call it the folder service. And let's just put that in there. This lesson I'm not going to put in the module name. We're just going to add that manually afterwards. But look at this. Now we have two different folders. And again, this is going to work with the database, and this is going to work with the storage. That's just kind of what I want to try and represent with the folder names right here. You can put in anything you want. You can decide your names yourself, of course. So now that I added the folder service, let's just go into the shared module. And notice right now we only have the file service available. So let's just open up for a folder service as well, so I don't forget it. There we go. So now the folder service is up and running. Now the next thing we're going to need is, when we're in the module anyway, we're going to start needing access to Angular Firestore, right? So we're going to get that module right here, Angular Firestore module. There we go. So now we can actually start getting data from Firestore. That's also something we are going to need very, very soon. So let's jump into our service right here and just add that in the constructor so we can get access to Firestore. So AFS and Angular Firestore. There we go. So now we have access to Firestore. Now what I want to do is pretty much just add a get folder right here. So I have a function so I can get a folder in a second. Now to get a folder, what do we need? Well, we need to know the unique identifier for the folder we want to get in my setup right here. So I'm going to add a string right here for the unique identifier. Now what else do I need to do? Well, I need to go to Firestore, right? So I'll say this AFS. I need a specific document. Now inside the document I can set up the path, and that's going to be inside the folders where I'm going to find my document, and then I'm going to add the unique identifier in the end right here. So now I have an access point to the document. I can call value changes, right, to kind of get an observable that can reach the document. And then let's just keep it as this for now, and then return an observable right here, and that's going to be of the type folder. That's what we're going to end up with actually right here. So there we go, that's what we want to return. But notice right here, it says that's not something you can do right now because you're not returning anything. So let's just return the actual observable right here. And it also says you can't do that because it doesn't know what the document is, what type it is. So I'll just add folder right here as well, and then it'll typecast it, try to typecast it from whatever we're getting from the folders into an actual folder. Now I know there's one thing missing right here in my folders. Let's go and have a look under Firebase right here and have a look under folders. Notice the unique identifier is on this level right here. So actually right now when I get a folder, I'm not going to get the unique ID inside the actual collection right here. It's actually a property of the actual document. So if I don't want to grab the metadata for the document, and I'm not going to do that this lesson, I actually need to kind of set the unique ID manually before I return this guy. And we can do that easily by just adding a map right here. Then we can also do other things later on if we want to. We're going to get back a folder right here, I expect, and that folder I'm just going to set the unique ID equal to the unique ID again I'm getting in right here. So that's how simple it was, and then I can return the folder. And now I just extended that folder to also contain the unique ID, even though I'm not getting it directly from Firebase actually. So that's all I had to do. And let's just jump in. I don't know why Firebase. There we go. Now I just want to show you guys, because the unique ID is not inside the actual document, right? It's actually what identifies the document. So unless you get the metadata, which you can also do, then you'll get this alongside with the actual data. Then you have to kind of add the unique ID manually like I just did. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. I'm just adding the unique ID manually because I already have it anyway, because that's how I get the folder. So that's it for this lesson. Now we just added a new service, and we also added a function to kind of get our own folder with a specific unique ID. See you in the next lesson where we'll have even more fun.